Hello folks, welcome back to a new set of hobby nightmares. I hope you're having a wonderful day. If you like what I do, please like the video. It does wonders for me on the old YouTube algorithm and getting the attention of the YouTube gods so we can have our hobby nightmares seen by more people, because they can help more people, get them through the working day, that kind of thing. Let's jump in, shall we? I may not be back on Friday because I've just had a few things I've got to sort out family-wise. Nothing serious, all good stuff. So I may not be around on Friday, but we will see if I can make time. And if I can make time, there will be another Hobby Nightmares tomorrow too. So, you know, I always like to make sure we keep at least 5 videos a week. And of course, I will be live streaming on Sunday as per usual. Now, JimJitsu says, and JimJitsu's been around for a while. If you've been around on the old channel, you will know that JimJitsu is a, shall we say, a veteran of the channel? I don't know whether that's a bit over the top, but yeah, maybe a veteran of the channel is a good way to put it. Anyway, he says, "Hello, Northern Exile. Feel free to call me JimJitsu or Jim. I hope this submission finds you and your family well. I'm writing to you to gain some clarity on my current situation concerning life and the hobby, and in doing so, take some steps to improve my quality of both." Okay, big responsibility there you placed on me, but I'll try. "I have been collecting, painting and playing Warhammer for the past 16 years. Ever since being inspired by an Eldar Warlock showcased in Games Workshop's 2006 catalogue. I repeatedly pore through the lore of the company settings, using them to inform modelling projects and to discuss with friends. The hobby is a key element of my life that I intend to always carry with me, but I do wonder if it has become an unhealthy obsession over the years. This is not a new thought, but I feel recent events within and beyond the hobby have shifted my perspective to conclude it may be governing my engagement with the world more than I want to admit." Okay. Well, dude, you've done perfectly well in encapsulating an issue that I think we all face from time to time. Anyway, a thing to know about me is that I can become hyperfixated on things that really interest me, and this is especially the case when it comes to the hobby. I can count several periods over the years where I have been so utterly focused on a project that I've excluded almost everything else beyond it. This was the case last year when me and my brother, also a fellow hobby fanatic, were finally able to make the pilgrimage to Warhammer World and compete in one of their doubles tournaments for 40k. Due to a late sign-up, we only had a few months to each build and paint 1,000 point armies. I settled on Chaos Knights, while my brother went with Chaos Demons. A few months may not seem too strict a time limit, but we also wanted to have a shot at the painting award too, and so extra time had to go into making our forces look as good as possible. As the deadline for completion approached, our schedules narrowed into focused tunnels of concentration. We would both get straight to painting almost as soon as we got home from work, working until very late into the night. We did manage to finish both armies, and whilst we did not win Best Painted Force, we still got 4 out of 5 votes for them from our opponents over the weekend. The event itself was a fantastic experience and the fulfillment of one of our hobby dreams. However, I cannot help reflecting on how completely the hobby took over our lives for a short period of time. One would think I'd have learnt my lesson from this experience, but I nearly let it happen again this year. Me, my brother and 2 friends recently had our own small doubles tournament, with the condition that we each bring a battle-ready 1,000 point army. After selecting my beloved Eldar, I went straight to planning and assembling the models I would need, but I soon realised just how much this wasn't going to work for me. I had nowhere near enough time to achieve the paint job that I wanted, and trying to finish everything on time would conclude with a sloppy collection I would be stuck with long after the event. On top of that, I could not muster any passion for the project. This was mainly due to my focus being for another growing collection I'll reveal later, but also because I could not stand the idea of tackling finicky Eldar details so quickly, especially with barely enough time to do so. There was simply too much to complete, and pushing onward regardless would not only give the hobby near total control over my free time once more, but also potentially ruin the Eldar faction for me, which continues to be my oldest collection of miniatures. Difficult events beyond the hobby were also weighing on my thought and general outlook. My grandfather passed away back in May following a rapid decline, and his death and funeral really got to me in a way I had not expected given I had experienced loss before. Little over a month later, my family had to say goodbye to one of our beloved dogs, a Labradoodle boxer, who had been with us for nearly 14 years. Being present for the vet when they administered the injection was one of the hardest things I have ever had to do. That night had my thoughts revolving around life, how finite it was, and how quickly it can just stop. I was now looking at my personal trials and gripes about work as trivial grievances in the grand scheme of things. Just to touch on that, you're learning the right lessons from life, man. That's what I'm seeing here. You are learning the right lessons. Correctamundo. You are learning the right lessons from life. Maybe these moments influenced my outlook as I made my decision for the project. I'm not too sure, but regardless, I called my friend, the one organising the tournament, to explain how I would not be able to finish my army on time and be happy with it. Fortunately, they were very understanding and we agreed I could bring a different fully painted army instead, meaning my Chaos Knights stomped forth once again. Since making this decision, I have had conversations with family and friends about my outlook and what I wanted from the hobby and my life. My parents have always been very supportive of my hobbies and interests, but they have asked every now and then if Warhammer was not getting in the way of me socialising, forming relationships, and finding new things to explore. In a recent chat with my dad, he said something along the lines of, and I paraphrase here, and I quote, "When you are on your deathbed, you will not be thinking, God, I wish I'd played more Warhammer. You'll look back and wish you'd done all sorts of other things," unquote. He's right. He's right. That's where my thoughts went before when you were talking about your experience and stuff. My thoughts initially went, wow, when you're a lot older, you're going to be thinking, there are other things I should have been doing. The hobby exists, right? And it's there to accentuate your life. It's there to provide the garnish to your burger. It's there to provide the cherry on top of the cake that is your life. It can't be the cake. It can't be the burger. Do you know what I mean? It is a wonderful garnish to have on that burger. It makes this already quite tasty burger really, really tasty. Or a burger that's kind of, okay, like a McDonald's burger or something. There are other places available. But you know what I mean? Like an okay burger. It makes it eatable and nice. Right? That's what the hobby's supposed to do. But the hobby isn't supposed to replace the burger. You can't just eat garnish. Do you know what I'm saying? That might sound quite extreme, but I agreed with him after giving it some thought and reflecting on how I currently engage with the world. I can talk about almost everything and anything there is to do about Warhammer, but topics and discussions beyond that will have me eventually falling silent. It is an obsession that brokers no alternative, and all-consuming well drawing in my creativity and my money, and yet, I still enjoy it for the ocean of content it offers to explore and take inspiration from. Dude, you're wording this so well. And very well written as well. You're doing a splendid job, right? But the thing is, you're wallowing in the positivity that Warhammer gives you. And that's fine. Like, it's great that it gives you positive, but you need adversity. I've only grown to understand this as I've gotten older, right? This is North speaking. I need adversity. I need to go to the gym, right? I need to go for long walks. I need to take on more work, right? I need that adversity because it gives the good times that more meaning, right? If everything's good all the time, then good loses its meaning. And you start to wallow in it. What you're doing is you're wallowing in the hobby because your life seems pretty easy. If you can spend all this time on your hobby and all this money on your hobby, life's going well, right? You need a bit of adversity. Iron sharpens iron, mate. Do you know what I mean? You need to get out there and do other things. The hobby needs to accentuate what you already do. It can't be what you do if you want to lead a healthy life. However, I believe I already know the steps I can take in the hobby and my life to improve both. I mean, I have a creative writing degree that is sat unused for years. There are story concepts and work in progress chapters that are unfinished. I have ideas for books that drive me to tears when I picture scenes and their accompanying music. Bloody hell. I want to learn German and travel out to the country to experience it. Rediscover topics like physics that I haven't looked at since school. Help people, and so on and so on. There is so much I want to do that I'm compiling a list of them and what I can do to ensure that I can do them. Among these is getting fitter, joining clubs in my local area, and putting myself in situations where I can meet people and develop skills and interests so that I no longer feel like a one-note person. Dude, brilliant. Exactly what I'm talking about. Exactly what I'm talking about. Why are you writing into me? You know what to do. You literally solved it yourself. I couldn't have put it better myself. As for the hobby itself, that has been the easiest to figure out thanks to my current passion project. At the end of last year, I decided to take the plunge into the Horus Heresy game and build an Erant Warriors army. With your videos and the Outer Circles ones in mind, I set myself the goal to fully complete 1 unit a month, and I am proud to say that I am keeping that promise. Since starting the project in January, I have finished 5 units, with 2 more to go, till I have 1,000 points that I can play with. How I have approached this army has felt healthier and more fulfilling than any other that has come before. In fact, I will go so far as to say it has been, and is, my favourite to build up ever, and I get excited every time I look at what I finished and what is going to be added next. Thank you for taking the time to read my submission. I hope you and the subscribers like it. It has a good finish to It has felt good to finish a piece of writing again, and I wonder if I will continue to pursue it going forwards. If you like, I can regale you off that trip to Warhammer World for that doubles tournament, which was itself a really positive experience, beyond the self-inflicted crunch time for painting. I have added a few photographs of some of my miniatures to go along with this hobby nightmare, including one Erant Warrior. Let's have a look, shall we? As I've said, we do pictures on Hobby Nightmares. People have said that we don't. We do. I stopped it for a little while. Wow. I stopped it for a little while simply because I thought Sundays are the best place to do it. But if you have pictures of models that you want to share in Hobby Nightmares, then feel free. That's amazing, man. That is one cool-ass demon. Here is the Chaos Knight. Lovely looking models. And of course, the Erant Warrior. Erant Warriors are just the best, man. Look at them. Absolutely cool. Love it. I'm going to leave that demon on for our next Hobby Nightmare. Lastly, thank you for all the work you do. Your videos are a comfort and I almost always tune into them after work. I particularly like your Exile-verse videos on the Eldar and the Space Marine Legions, and would like to ask your thought on the Death Guard and Iron Hands, and how you might change them if you're at the helm of creative thinking at Games Workshop. Thanks again, and all the best to you, your family, and your community, Jim. Cheers, mate. I won't go into Death Guard, because that's going to be a big video eventually, but the Iron Hands, I would actually... I would actually have them be, like, shall we say, as mental as they are now, and really far away from what Ferrus Manus wanted. But I would also have, like, Errant Warriors that kind of resemble Guts from Berserk, right? And these Errant Warriors are basically, they travel on their own like the Fallen. They travel on their own throughout the galaxy, and their mission is to kill Emperor's children. That's it. And each one of these guys is like a one-man army. An incredible character. Like, you know, one of the most powerful Marines in the setting. There's like 5 of them in the galaxy at any one time. And they go around and they essentially stalk Emperor's Children champions. And one of them will become powerful enough to actually kill Fulgrim. That would be my lore, to make them a lot more interesting. But yeah. So yeah, if we're going to do Griffith, let's do Guts. I don't know. It's cool. Moving on. John says, "Hello, North. John is back again, and as expected, you didn't pronounce my name correctly. That does not matter." Okay, cool. When I was born, there was a huge wall in the east, and Europe was far away from United. That's why my parents didn't have to think about how my name is pronounced outside of Belgium and the Netherlands. On to your question about the first edition of Age of Sigmar from my previous nightmare. It was indeed the Wild West back then. The second and third editions were much better. What will be the fourth edition I will probably never find out, but more on that later. Okay. On to the nightmare that took place in the Wild West, but with blackjack and orcs. A doubles tournament was coming up with Age of Sigmar. The organisation wanted to do a Warhammer Fantasy for one last time and one last get-together with 40k and Age of Sigmar. Because Age of Sigmar didn't have a point system, the following was thought. You may have a maximum of wounds per player in your army. Not a problem in itself. Normally an ogre with 3 wounds is worth more than a humie with 1 wound. The ogre also has 3 attacks compared to the human's 1. So far, a good balance at first glance. However, not all models with 1 wound are equal. Just to give an example, Night Goblin Fanatics. They have 1 wound with no maximum number that you can hide in a unit of normal Night Goblins. So, you can do the following with a 100 wounds list. Take 2 units of 20 Night Goblins, minimum number, and put 20 Fanatics in each unit. All you have to do with the 20 Night Goblins is walk around and release the Fanatics near the opponent. Boom! 20 times d6 wounds right to the face. Not that I did that, I was smart and didn't go and buy 40 Night Goblins just to get an advantage for a few months. Games Workshop was going to fix that at some point anyway. There was more. For example, there were chameleon skinks that had a 2+ armor save in terrain. There were also armies that could constantly bring back models, making them impossible to kill with the current rules. Think demons and both flavours of undead. Finally, there was an advantage if you still used the 20mm square bases. This meant that you could hit more with a rank if you had spears. The rules are also written in such a way that you could hit with another extra rank if you placed that model with the spear very far forwards on the base and used the longest arm with the spear. I also did not use that for the same reason as I mentioned earlier, because it would be kinda lame. However, it took Games Workshop until 2nd edition to actually fix this. The tournament itself did not go smoothly. I wonder why. Things went wrong in advance. At a doubles tournament, I always had a friend who accompanied me. Let's call him Dave. He had said he would also participate in this tournament. When I asked several times if we could coordinate our lists, Dave always said he wanted to do that later. At some point, I realised that the word later meant never. Luckily, my brother-in-law got wind of this and we got to work straight away with our lists together. He was playing Mordheim for years and happened to be able to get a Chaos Warriors army cheaply from somewhere. Teaching him the Age of Sigmar rules were no problem, and we went to the tournament together with his warriors and my demons. Our list revolved around him being able to summon more demons with his spellcasters. Once we arrived at the tournament, there were just enough teams that everybody could play against each other. 40k and Fantasy were completely full, as always. However, the organisers immediately came to us and said that one team had not yet paid and they were going to wait a while to see if they would show up. That included Dave, the traitor from earlier. Their question was if they didn't show up if we wanted to play 1 versus 1. Otherwise, both reserve players would be occupied with Age of Sigmar and couldn't jump in for Fantasy or 40k. We all agreed to that, especially because those 2 games had the most players and we didn't want all those players with no backup. You already feel it coming. They didn't arrive. We played a 1 versus 1 for 3 games throughout the day. We always finished every game very quickly because you play with half wounds. After our games, we always chilled out or looked for other tables for 40k and Fantasy. One of the games took longer, and this was because my demons were versus the undead. The models rose so quickly as they died, so we could go on forever. At one point, we decided we would skip summoning and see who was the one with the last model on the table to win the game. I don't even remember who won that in the end. Okay, this is what a badly designed game looks like. If for all of you who think that, you know, it's ridiculous that, you know, the Games Workshop release so much broken rules these days, this is how bad it can be. It can be like this. Alright? So, yeah. It can always be worse. On to 4th edition, or not. As you know, the 4th edition starter box is just around the corner. The number of Age of Sigmar players has been dying in this club for a while. There are several reasons for this. One of them is called a better gaming system. It is one where all the rules are on one page. I'm sure you've heard of that. Yes, I have. Yes. Yeah, one-page rules beats out 40k and Age of Sigmar, like without fail. And I quite like Age of Sigmar now. I think it's a pretty decent game. A few days ago, someone asked on the club app whether it was wise to buy the new Age of Sigmar box. He asked if there were any other Age of Sigmar players. I said I played it sometimes, but mainly another comparable game, OPR. The conversation quickly turned to one-page rules. Tonight, that player will watch a game to see how it flows. My fellow gamer does a lot with 3D printing, and will explain what that is too. With the latter, our club is slowly moving towards third-party games and 3D printing. I think Games Workshop will have difficulty changing course quickly, because otherwise it will sink. Cheers. I am seeing more and more groups and hobby groups, when they do email into me, when I do get hobby nightmares from them, say the same thing. Is that their groups are moving away from 40k and Age of Sigmar because they can't trust Games Workshop to keep up with, you know, a reliable release schedule, or decent prices, or games that actually work out of the box. Do you know what I mean? And I don't blame you. Listen, that's what capitalism is. That's what the world is. If somebody isn't providing you a service, then leave. Do it yourself with blackjack and hookers. You know? Or use another game system. It's a meritocracy, or at least it should be. Anyway. Mikey Maud says, Yo, Northern Sage. I need some advice, pal. Alright? Recently, I've been going to a hobby group at university. I'm a mature student. And I've been playing some old world there against 2 other lads who are really into the new model lines. I went with Bretonia. I love them long time. Good lad. A few weeks before the end of term, a girl came into the club called Lana. Very easy on the eye and another mature student. It is safe to say I had my eye on her, but wanted to not make a move at the hobby group. One, I'm very shy, but mostly, maybe she saw this place as a place of solace and peace like I did, and I didn't want to make that ick for her. That's good of you, man. That's good of you. Yeah. Yeah. The thing you do is just hang around and talk. You know? Don't try and go over to her and get a number or anything. Just have fun. The thing is, she soon came over to our table and was talking to us all. Affable and generally a very nice girl. We got talking and she told me she preferred my models to the others as she is really into medieval history. So am I. And we hit it off straight away. We ended up swapping numbers and going on a date a few days later before the end of term. Cool, man. Cool, where's the nightmare? We had a really good chat during dinner about her hobby and her actually getting into the old world in the next term, among all sorts of other subjects, life, the universe, and everything. It was going really well. Then, the bill came for the meal, and she remained silent. I was more than happy to pay, or to go halves, since it was an expensive meal, but she just sat there looking at me expectantly. I asked her, stupidly, if she wanted to go halves or just get the drinks, which were a lot less than the meal. She looked furious at this suggestion. Okay, date over. Date over. Right, chalk it up to a loss. Date over. Pay for the meal and leave. You're the man. Be a gentleman, she said. She rolled her eyes, her mask slipping a little. I paid. Yeah, as you should. Fine, no problem. I know I should have told her to fuck off, but I never really go out on dates. I'm an alright looking lad, but my shyness means I'm disqualified from this most of the time. After I paid, she was right back to being the Lana that I really liked again, and we agreed to see each other again. I couldn't help feeling as I walked away, though, that there was now a thorn in my side. I couldn't shake the feeling that I just encountered a major warning sign. You have. That's because you have. Alright? I've said this before, and I'll say it again. When I'm getting into a relationship with a woman, I treat her like I treat my best friends. Right? Lads, when you go out for a meal or a few drinks with your best friends, do you have them pay for everything? Serious question. When you go out with your bro, with your best friend, do you pay for everything? Or do you go halves? This is what women want. They say, oh, well, I want to be his best friend as well as his, you know. Oh, well, okay. Then we go halves. That's just how it is. By the way, and I know I'm going to get flack for this. Ladies, okay? If you go to a date and you expect him to pay, are you going to sleep with him? Again, another serious question. If you expect him to pay, are you going to sleep with him? I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, that's disgusting. No, it isn't. Because what you're doing, if you're going on a date and you're expecting a man to pay for your time, do you know what that makes you? Yeah. I think you do know what that makes you. If you're expecting him to pay for your time, you're saying, my time's more valuable than yours, and you need to pay for it. Well, what am I buying? What am I buying? I'm not buying a conversation. I can have a conversation with anybody else in this bar or this restaurant. What am I buying? If you've reduced this date to a transaction, what am I buying? You know what I'm buying. Yeah? So what I would say, if you're a woman, if you want to avoid some very awkward situations, don't let a man pay for you. Alright? Or if you do, at least offer to pay or cover half or get the tip. My missus does that all the time. She gets the tip or the drinks. Get the cheaper part of the meal. Because the man wants to treat you. I've asked you out for a date, or even if you've asked me out for a date, I want to treat you no matter what. Because, you know, I'm a gentleman, you've given me, you know, and we're having a good time, and I want to impress you with my gentlemanly skills, right? I want to pay for the meal. Because what you're doing as a man is that you're showing her that you can take care of her. Right? You're showing her that she doesn't need to mother you, that you can take care of her. You're getting the meal. Don't worry about this. I've got this. It's a sexy thing. Like, women, they like it. They like it when you do shit like that. It's when they expect it where the problem comes. As a woman, if you just expect a man, right, to pay for everything, you weren't brought up correctly. If you're a man and you go on a date and you expect her to just sleep with you because she's on a date with you, you weren't brought up correctly. Those two people are the same. Arseholes. If you're a lady and you go out with a man and he wants to sleep with you just because he's on a date with you and he expects you to go home with him, don't go out with him again. He's toxic as fuck. If you're a man and you go out with a woman and she expects you to pay and gives you nothing in return, never see that woman again. Huge red flag. Massive red flag. Okay? And by the way, guys, remember, she's on her first date with you. This is as nice as she's going to get. She's on her best behaviour. She is on her best behaviour on your first date. And if she's sitting there expecting you to pay for everything, this is as good as it gets. Remember that. Leave. Pay for the meal, chalk it up to a learning experience, and leave. Delete a number, don't speak to her anymore. And if she asks, tell her why. Tell her why. The mother of my kids wouldn't act the way you did in that. You wouldn't just expect me to pay for everything. Right? Because, here's the thing. That's my last test. If I ever go on, hopefully I never go on a first date again, but if I go on a first date, I will wait for the woman to offer to pay for half. Or to get the drinks in or something. And then I'll say, no, don't be ridiculous. I'm taking care of this. And I'll get my wallet out. And I'll cover it all. Right? No matter... no matter what she protests. Shut up. Right? I'm being a gentleman. I want you to know I really enjoyed tonight, and I want to treat you. No woman says no to that. They go, oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. Right? That's a woman that I want to see again. That's a woman I want to see again. And every long-term relationship I've been on, it started that way. You know? I've deleted numbers and walked away from first dates that have gone pretty well when the woman has pulled shit like this at the end of it. Right? Don't. It's a red flag. It really is. It really is. The summer holiday has arrived, and we met up in her hometown a few weeks later, which was really cool. And once again, I paid for most things, and she treated this as completely normal. I really like Lana. She is smart and funny, and she is into all the same things I am, and she only seems to go a little off when either we can't do something because I'm out of money, or we run out of time to do something. She is also extremely good in bed. Well, here we go, here we go, here we go. I didn't need to put that there, but yeah, that's not something I want to walk away from in a hurry. Dude, you're sex drunk. You're pussy drunk. Here we go. And the last piece clicks into place. Should I stop being an idiot and accept being a lucky bum? Dude, you're not lucky. She's a paid hoe. You're not lucky. This is nerds all over. They seem to think that they're some lucky bum, some lucky. How lucky am I that she gives me the time of day? Fuck that, dude. Get a backbone. Fuck that. Get a backbone. You are the prize, mate. Look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. Chaddington there. That's the guy in the mirror, right? She's lucky to be with you. Enough of this lucky bum nonsense. Lucky bum. You're the one paying for everything. You're a mug. It fucking drives me up the wall. It really does. Stop with this simping attitude. Stop it. Alright? She's not going to respect you. She probably doesn't even like you. I'm sorry. It's going to be really hard to listen to, I know. I'm telling you, dude. You're being used. It looks to me like you're being used. She may like you. But if you don't grow a fucking backbone and a pair, she's going to use you, suck you dry, and when she's bored, she'll leave. And to be honest with you, mate, what I would do in your situation... I'll carry on reading, then I'll give you my advice, alright? She's ill... Yeah, I don't want to walk away and... Should I just stop being an idiot and accept being a lucky bum and having this awesome hobby girl as a girlfriend? I'm starting to think so. Thanks, North Mikey. Okay, mate... give her a fucking ultimatum this second. The next time she asks to do something, speak to her and say, yeah, I am, but you're paying for half. Then we're going half. Sorry. No. I'm starting to feel like you're taking advantage of me and my time. So, this is what we're doing. You need to grow a pair. And you know what? She will dump you. She will dump you. I'm telling you now. But at least you've gone out on your own terms. You've fallen on your sword. It was your choice. You made a healthy decision to tell this girl to put up or fucking shut up. That's what you did. You walk away with your head held high. And you didn't get somebody taking the piss out of you. I don't care how cool she is, how nice she is. These are bad signs. Listen to me. These are bad signs. This is not good. Okay? You need to confront this and get it out. You say, look, we've been on a few dates now. You need to start pulling your weight. Don't say it like that, because obviously weight. But, you know, just say, look, we've been on a few dates now. It would mean a lot to me if you started paying for at least some of what we do, because it's really eating into my budget, and I'm trying to be responsible with my money, and I won't be with somebody who's a financial drain. I won't be with somebody who's a dead weight. Say that to her. And I want my partner to be a go-getter. I want my partner to share in life with me, and for me to share my wealth that I earn with her, and for her to share her wealth that she earns with me. Right? I want to be in a partnership. I don't need another weight around my ankle. That's what you say. And if she gets offended, fucking fine. Fine, leave. Leave. You know, but there's always a chance that she sees the light. You say this to her, she sees the light. But stick to your guns if she does. If she sees the light and says, okay, cool, I will, and she gets some respect for you, I'm telling you, the sex will be better. Because now you're a man now. She sees you as a man. You stood up for yourself and you're not being fucking walked over. It will get better. Your treatment will get better. Okay? Do not be a doormat. If you be a doormat, she'll treat you like a doormat. Doesn't matter how good the woman is. If you lie down for her, she'll just walk over you. Doesn't matter how nice, how good she is. Doesn't matter. Right? Don't be dominated. Right? Shrug it off. And if she wants to walk away, she wants a weaker man than you, fine. Let her walk, dude. Let her walk. You've shown you can do it. You've shown you can do it. You've gotten laid. You've gotten what you wanted. If she wants to walk after you give her that talk, let her. Let her. Be strong. Don't look back. Carry on with your life. But don't simp like this. You were going down a bad road, man. A bad one. Alright. I love you all long time. I will speak to you either tomorrow or on Sunday. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'll see you then. Have a good one. Bye now.